All right. First of all, we have, as of date, 79 individuals and 58 WTCs in the AgMAC currently. Welcome everybody. We have not had a meeting for I think more than half a year. And I'm very excited to talk about 2020, what we are going to do in the year 2020. But before we talk about 2020, the rest of the 2020, let's do a little bit of recap for what we have done starting 2019 and 2020 YTD. What we did last 1.5 years was there's 3 headlines. The first headline is a agricultural summit that we held in July 2019. This was a one-day event held in Beijing. We had small exhibitions, we had speakers, we had networking lunches and dinner, and we have entertainment, also sightseeing afterwards. This event was attended by 9 WTCs, and one of the WTC brought in 3 of their member enterprises. And we also had 11 Chinese buyer companies, companies who were doing purchasing, procurement. We brought them in to match up with the 3 member enterprises that came in to attend the summit. So we had a whole afternoon of B2B interactions. So that was a very exciting event. So that's the first headline I was going to talk about. And the second headline was we attended CIIE event in November 2019. CIIE is China International Import Expo. This is a huge event where Chinese buyers are buying all kinds of foreign goods and services. So we co-sponsored with WTCA and hosted a booth in the CIIE. And our booth was visited over 10,000 visitors average a day. And I will be talking a lot more about CIIE later on in this meeting, because we are going to propose to AgMAC members, to everybody, that we may want to consider participate in CIIE again this year in November. So that's the second headline. And the third headline, to follow up with our interaction, the buyer-seller interaction, B2B matching and all that, to follow up with all these discussions, a few WTCs got together and worked on about a dozen of surveys and searches for market intelligence for Chinese laws, regulations, importation procedures, and market potentials for a few product categories, such as confectionery, frozen meat, livestock, eucalyptus byproducts, and alcoholic drinks. And while we have a lot of these projects are still ongoing, and we have a lot more to do to make the result really meaningful to actually transacting import business. But I think what I'm very encouraged about the collaboration between the WTCs, because I see what we have so far, the knowledge base, although very small, but we're able to build up so far, could be of interest to other WTCs in our membership. For instance, frozen meat. importation in China, the regulations, the import procedures, the market potentials. This are shifting all the time as we speak because of the COVID and because of the trade wars and because of all these other things, the U.S.-China relationship problems. So many other WTCs might be interested in what we have found out so far. So I think this could be exciting to involve more WTCs to join in the work and to first of all to go deeper with any of these subjects. Frozen meat is a good example, and we can also broaden the scope of our search and surveys to include other product categories. And also we can broaden to include other regions and countries. And if we are able to do all that and invite more members to join in the work, I'm seeing a very exciting start of a very powerful and useful database for international trading, sometime in the near future. So this is something that just want to mention to everybody. And if any of you are interested in what we have so far and what we can do in the future in terms of searches and surveys and market researches and market intelligence collecting and all that, just please let us all get together and talk about that. And I like to see this as a long-term effort for AgMAC in the future. All right. And so these are the three things that we have done as a recap from 2019 and part of 2020.
Thanks.
So,
yeah, thank you. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I think you brought up some good points there. And just so everyone knows, Steve is with World Trade Center Harbin as representing chair of the AgMAC. Ronnie DeBray, who is vice chair, couldn't be with us this morning or this afternoon, this evening for some of you, but Maureen Pace is here representing for World Trade Center Dublin and for Ronnie. But thank you, Steve. I think, you brought up some good points. And as we were speaking yesterday, Steve, you brought up a good point in terms of the AgMAC itself. We have other MACs that are focused on best practices for trade services. And really this MAC is giving everyone the opportunity to really just take off in terms of finding those trade opportunities and ways to increase SMEs in certain marketplaces, especially right now with what's going on with disrupted supply chains and the pandemic and shutdowns. It's really a powerful way for all of you to connect and really find those inroads. And Steve, what you mentioned with how the market sharing, market research that you've been helping with over the past year, I mean, that's been fantastic to hear that that's kind of been moving forward. The surveys that Carla worked on last year have definitely helped as well. I don't know that she's on the line right now, but definitely everything that you guys have been doing to kind of move forward with the MAC have helped us. We did want to go ahead and cover today CIIE for again this year. It's something that we did attend last year as an AgMAC or participated in. So Steve, we'll cover that next. And then if I can have all of you start thinking right now, as Steve is talking about CIIE, if you can start thinking of what you'd like the AgMAC, how you'd like it to move forward for the rest of this year. I mean, again, this is a tool for all of you to kind of find ways to make inroads in places that you're finding difficulty right now, or in that your members, your companies are finding difficulty. So by all means, we can talk about guest speakers, we can talk about tools that you may need, programs that we can develop with all of you. So Steve, why don't I go ahead and stop talking and let you share about CIIE. I've given you control to share your screen, or I can share mine for the presentation. Which would you prefer?
would you do yours, please? I'm no experience in sharing mine.
Yes, I've got it. One sec. So, okay. All set?
Okay. Yep. Let's go next. Next slide. Okay, let's talk briefly about CIIE, why it is so important and what is worthwhile for us to participate again this year. Right. This is a trade fair that's held annually in Shanghai, China since 2018. And the exhibitors are entirely global suppliers. In fact, you have to be a foreign company, as far as China is concerned, to participate as an exhibitor. You have to be selling foreign goods or services in this expo. And therefore, the attendees on the counterpart are all Chinese buyers. And they organize these state-owned enterprises, huge buying organizations that come to the show and buy to discuss contract for everything from automobile to agricultural crop, food items, whatever. It's a huge import fair, and it's sponsored by the Ministry of Commerce itself and also by the Shanghai Municipal Government. The co-sponsors are WTO and the United Nations Conference of Trade and Development and the United Nations Industrial Development Organizations. So you can see how they scaled up between 2018 and 2019. The exhibition area grew from 270,000 square meters to 366,000 square meters. And you look at the transaction in the last column, the transaction value grew from 58 billion to about 71 billion. This is certainly just within 1 year. And it's certainly a dramatic scaled up in 2019. Okay. Here we see who are the attendees from the China side. So the manufacturing industries represent the most attendees, and they are basically buying material and work in process and components. This probably would not be as interesting to us WTC members, but the next line, wholesaler and retail, are going to be very interesting for us. These are people buying consumer products. So I think from my experience with the WTC enterprise members of different WTCs, I can see the representation of the wholesalers and the retailers of consumer goods in China would be very, very interesting to them. Okay, now let's go to the next. And so talking about this event this year, it's going to be from November 5 to November 10. And it will be in the huge National Exhibition and Convention Center in Shanghai. This is new, started operation only in 2018 for this show. So it's a brand new facility. And here we have the website, and let me talk about a little bit about our booth this year. It will be co-sponsored by WTCA and AgMAC. And we are located in the trade services section because we mostly provide services. We are trying to connect the buyers with the sellers with our member WTCs. And we will be using this booth to promote WTCA and as well as AgMAC members. What we're going to do with how we are going to take advantage of this opportunity coming November is that we like the Chinese AgMAC members to organize their member companies as buyer groups and to come to visit CIIE, the show, and also come to AgMAC booth to connect up with our WTCs and our enterprise members of our different WTCs. And we like the Chinese WTCs to come and set up remote sessions with WTC member companies of matching business interests. And in what industry are we going to do this B2B sessions? We will only have to decide on which industries that we will concentrate on for the B2B activities in the coming months. Basically, it will depend on our Chinese members, what kind of companies they can round up for to come to the show, or to do the remote session, B2B session. And we also need to find out who are interested, non-Chinese members who are interested in coming to, in attending this, this expo. Okay. Next. So the non-Chinese members, we'd like for them to organize and coordinate for member companies to participate in the expo. And yes, we'd like for them to participate, but we also like for them to bring member companies to participate for the remote B2B session. And for those WTCs who are interested, we'd like for them to provide promotional materials for the distribution at the expo in our booth. And these promotional material can include brochures, promotional videos in a USB drive, and also if they like to send product samples, we will take care of the customs procedures and distribution for them. So these are what we like for the Chinese member, for the non-Chinese member to participate in this expo. Okay. So that's about all the I need to say about the CIIE. Now, this section, the next section is about how to provide your promotional material to the booth so that we can produce them. For instance, you have video on a flash drive, or you have printed material that you are already done in the past. Then what we need to do is to receive electronics information from you about these material, and we will then produce them in China, in Shanghai, for you, and to have them available at the booth for the attendees, for the buyers. And originally, Ronnie was going to talk about this section about how to participate, but she's not available today.
I can take over, Steve, if you like.
Yeah, right, please.
Okay, okay. And Maureen, feel free. I know would you like to kind of cover this, Maureen, or?
I'm happy to, Crystal, or I can, add to anything you'd like to say.
Yep, that's perfect. Why don't I'll see if I get everything right. Since we did this last year, I think I kind of know. So basically, to put it into a few different categories, everyone, if you'd like to participate in CIIE by sharing materials about your World Trade Center or up to 2 of your member companies, you have a few different ways. So you can either send a USB drive or hard copy materials to World Trade Center Harbin, and we'll share that contact information at the end of this. Or you can share digital materials, and World Trade Center Harbin will take care of the printing and distributing at the exhibition, at the expo. So in terms of uploading your materials digitally, we're going to do that through Webport Global again. If you do have access, if you did this last year, then you still have access to Webport Global. If you did not do this previously, or you're not sure of what we're talking about, we'll give you information on who to contact at the end of this so that you can set up your profile on Webport Global. So the different materials that we're looking for, you can send brochures about your World Trade Center or your member companies, or you can go ahead and upload information. So you can upload 1 photo And we have the size here and an introduction about your World Trade Center. So really, you know, in terms of thinking of trade services and agriculture, what you're focused on for your World Trade Center, for your local market. You can also send up to information of up to 2 different companies. Again, 1 photo and an introduction for each. Some of you did this last year and they turned out quite well. If you're not quite sure of what we're talking about, I can give you a sample. You can also send a promotional video to World Trade Center Harbin. To do that, you would have to do it digitally, not through Webport Global, but through World Trade Center Harbin. So we'll give you that contact information. So in terms of uploading to Webport Global, I'll send all this information to everyone, but it's very easy. We've set up, or I should say Webport Global and World Trade Center Dublin have set up a group for the AgMAC on this, this website. And we have a specific area for everyone to upload their materials. So some of you may have received an email yesterday where you were added to this group for 2020. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to see that you're in that group now. It's very easy. You just click on a few different links, you know, click on the group resources, adding the addition sign, and you upload your materials. You post your links and your documents. We will kind of check those through our legal department to make sure everything is kind of able to be distributed, and we'll go back to you for final approval before anything is kind of printed or distributed at the expo. In terms of contacting, if you want to take a photo of this screen, I can also send you the information. In terms of getting a hold of someone to get access to Webport Global, you're going to go through Ronnie, and she's shared her contact information there. I'll also give you my information, obviously, so that I can help. And then if you would like to send hard copy materials, product samples, video, USB drives, we'll ask that you send that directly to World Trade Center Harbin so that we're not kind of going through multiple steps of customs. And you would send that to Kun Chen, and her contact information is there as well. So that's kind of, Maureen, did I cover kind of everything?
A beautiful job, better than I would have done, I think, Crystal.
Okay,
Honestly. So thank you. But you know, I just want to underscore all of this by saying that I believe that World Trade Center Dublin had 3 companies participate in this last year, and it went over phenomenally well with our member companies. It's a great way to, you know, test the water, get your product out into the Chinese market, be represented by a trusted source at no cost. So the message spread like wildfire for us in Dublin last year. And we've had companies, you know, calling us, waiting to hear, who have joined as members just to be able to participate in hopes that this year would happen. So really thank you to Steve and the whole Harbin team for making this a possibility for our companies who might otherwise not have the resources to be able to begin to explore China. So I think I really do encourage all of you who have members that are interested in this market to participate, because again, it's all about us branding ourselves. And, you know, the more people see us collectively as a group at this show, the more of these buyers that will think about the WTCA and about World Trade Centers as an opportunity for sourcing products that they're looking for.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so I think that covers the presentation portion of CIE. Did anyone have specific questions that they wanted to ask now about it? Oh, let me just look through my screens here. Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead. Steve and I and Ronnie will work together to get the instructions to all of you. And if you have questions, by all means, you know, ask away. And as Maureen mentioned, World Trade Center Dublin did participate last year. And so if you have questions on kind of, you know, the impact of that, by all means, I'm sure Maureen would be happy to speak with anyone.
Well, I just want to mention that if you're interested in coming into the CIIE, we really need to hear from you before September 30th. By then, we need to know that you're interested and you are also sending material to us.
Great, great, yeah. And I think a couple more points on that, actually. Steve, if a World Trade Center who's not based in China, but does have a member company that has a base in China, can they participate on site?
Yes, yes, of course. They can come, as a representative of the WTCs.
Okay, great, great. And they would just contact you, I guess, and Kuhn to get ticket access. Okay. Fantastic. And then just so everyone knows also, the Bro office is also working on promotion of the WTCA and the AgMAC, this opportunity itself at CIIE. I can't get that word out this morning. So, we do have other ways that we're kind of cross-promoting internally. So we have other events in China that are coming up that we're going to be promoting with the Bro team in China, outside of China. And CIIE is one of those opportunities. So we are kind of putting our resources towards promotion of this as well. So just know that, you have the backing of headquarters as well in kind of promoting you. All right, so I think that covers that. Yeah, Hoffman, did you have a question? I see a finger waving.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I do have a question. This is my first time in this meeting, and I recognize some faces, so it's nice. I have a question. We're World Trade Center Barranquilla, and we would like to, we've been discussing some missions. One in particular is with Singapore, but we also want to get some with China, with other countries and what have you. I have a lot of companies here that want to export we got, meats, we got coffee, we got avocados. It's a lot of products. They just some of them are difficulties trying to connect with people from Asia, so forth. So would I be able to send you information about what we could produce or get for you?
Yeah, I think if you can give us a product that you have to offer and have some material describe these products, we can have them available.
You're breaking up.
The buyer to come in and learn, and hopefully the connection can be between the buyer and your company, so they can go on with their business discussions. But yeah, I think describing your product and availability, then we can take that to the booth and see what happens with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Hoffman. Okay. Fantastic. I think what I'm going to do now is if we can open up the discussion. If that's okay, Steve, we'll go ahead and open up to our discussion of how the AgMAC can move forward for 2020 and into 2021. So before I kind of give feedback, I'd love to hear from all of you. If you like, you can go ahead and unmute yourself or raise your hand and I'll catch you on here.
Crystal, I have a question for Hoffman. Hoffman, I don't think we've met. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Virtually. When you're thinking about trade, thinking about them in the traditional sense or virtually?
No, we're going to do traditionally presence, but it won't be to probably a second quarter of next year. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll give it some time for everybody to recuperate, let's say, and everything to settle down. But we believe we have a good success rate with doing presence and sit down, face to face and so forth.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I think You know, we've had some discussions internally and definitely with Steve and Ronnie, you know, in terms of how we can move forward with the AgMAC. We have speaking opportunities. Robin and I have discussed in terms of bringing outside speakers in to talk with you all on different trade issues, especially pertaining to agriculture. You know, if you wanted to do something like that, you know, I think what Steve mentioned earlier of the market research, and definitely, I mean, this is part of why we have the network and why it's so powerful in that you all can connect very easily with a full network of World Trade Centers and their businesses in China in particular, but within all of your markets. And I know, you know, EJ from Leeuwarden has his business cluster platform. So we have all this information, and it's about kind of figuring out what you all need. So if we can start maybe with what you need, what you've heard from your member companies, especially, I guess, for me, I think the most urgent issue is dealing with the supply chain and what's happening right now. So does anyone have any feedback on that? Any ideas?
Hi, Crystal, and good morning, everyone. This is Robin here. I just wanted to chip in briefly. Yesterday, I had a really interesting call with our World Trade Center in Guadalajara in Mexico. They operate the, if not the, or one of the largest logistical hubs for cargo and handling, freight forwarding, bonding, warehousing in Mexico. And their focus is, they talked about how, of course, the pandemic impacted their business, but one area of growth for them was perishable goods, any type of agricultural products. So perhaps if of interest, you know, Crystal, we can make an introduction with Victor in Guadalajara and his team to the AgMAC here, because that could be also, you know, of interest as a market in and out of Mexico, but also thinking about for Steve participating in the CIEE coming up in November, for them to also present themselves there with a booth as a logistical hub in Mexico. Just to add, thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
I think I think all WTCs have members who are interested in selling to big markets like China. I think one thing that we need to consider, based on my experience so far with the WTC members, is that how are they going to do the business? Are they going to do the business with WTC as their representative, or are they going to do the business independent of the WTCs? This is something that we need to take into consideration at the very, very beginning, because this will have to decide, this will have to influence how we deal with these member companies. In our experience with Dublin and their three members, we are so far able to keep that line of relationship intact. In other words, we deal with Dublin, and they deal with their members. This is a very realistic issue that will come up immediately. You hook the buyer, connect the buyer with the seller. So this is something that we need to we need to think about. Just a, you know, just a thought to share with everybody.
Oh, sorry, Karen.
Yeah, EJ, go ahead. I'll speak after you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Happy to see you all. Happy to be in here. Maybe one suggestion also for Steve. But what I would like to know and what I would like to see is brief presentations on maybe 2 or 3 World Trade Centers in the world presenting their agricultural region or the agricultural background, so that we can learn from each other, but also that we know what we can get from each region. So, I mean, we have 79 members in our group. That is wonderful. But I'm very curious what, for example, what Brest has to offer, or what Dublin has to offer agricultural-wise, so that we can learn, but then that we can also match, and that we can also get to know each other a little bit better. So that would be my addition, my suggestion for the AgMAC. I would like to learn more about your individual World Trade Centers in the field of agriculture. Thank you.
That's a good point, AJ. Thank you.
To that
May I?
Yeah.
To that point,
To me, I'm
oh.
sorry, may I speak now?
sorry.
Is it okay to speak now?
Yes, please.
You know, for me, my reason of being a part of AgMAC is largely because of World Trade Center Chandigarh. And Chandigarh, as we know, is a part of a state, is the capital city of Punjab, which is the food bowl of India. And we have a very large real estate. So my interest of being a part of AgMAC is to look at largely where we would be able to get agricultural companies, food tech companies into India and have a lot of knowledge sharing. I mean, India is, you know, we are promoting startups in India. We are promoting food technology in India. And this COVID has largely made us realize that local capacity building, especially when it comes to supply chain, is becoming an essential aspect of it. A center of excellence is something that, you know, which is focused on food and agriculture, which not only helps in training companies or getting in best practices or innovation into India, or for that matter, food tech companies which are looking at exploring India. And lastly, and more importantly, which helps in building local capacity. So my purpose of being a part of AgMAC is actually from this perspective. And that is where I would see this AgMAC actually taking it, you know, going towards, because real estate plays a very, very important aspect. And it, with the Center of Excellence, for food and agriculture, we see that it's not only the real estate, but also services. It's a combination of both which can help. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would like to see you know, a way forward more towards in that direction. And it helps a lot of World Trade Centers.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Care. I think, Steve, Christina Shen also had her hand up.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Nice to hear you tonight. Well, for what are we going to do for the next part of the year and for the next year, I suggest, because we have a lot of members who are in the agriculture field, and you know, China is a big market. They have a lot of demands, such as soybean, rice, beef, anything. So if we have a digital platform that can show everybody's products and the picture, videos on it, so that's much easier for everybody to look at it or check it at the website. And also, they can also find some supplier from China. So if we have a shopping mall, digital shopping mall, or a website that can display, that will be much easier. That's my suggestion. It will be worthwhile, and it does work during this very special time and a new normal time. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Steve, if I can just chime in on that point, in terms of the digital tools, you know, we have the resources of the website, the WTCA website right now, and the Resource Center. At this point, we're not looking to create our own B2B platform or marketplace just because we don't have the capacity. It really, I think most of you also know this, it's an overwhelming amount of work that has to go in and specialization that has to go into it. So I think for right now, if we can use the tools that we already have, and you know, World Trade Center Dublin has offered Webport Global, and if you're not on that yet, I would encourage you. It's not just a platform for us to talk with one another and to upload materials. There's a marketplace component of it. And Maureen, if you want to speak to it, at all?
Yeah, certainly happy to have any of our fellow World Trade Centers participate. We do have a few World Trade Centers who participate with us quite actively, and in addition to data and data mining tools that the environment offers, we do have a marketplace where companies can showcase their products and services, to a global marketplace that, we share the information quite actively with buyers that we have relationships with. In addition to that, the platform also is releasing an app that's in beta right now that will be released in September, that allows companies from around the world to look at the products and services and their availability, and inquire directly with the companies themselves. At this point in time, it is English based, but the roadmap calls for additional languages to be added over the course of the next 24 months. But again, we've always, any World Trade Center that's interested, we'd love to have you participate. Right now, there's a need more than ever to build out trusted networks like we have ourselves. And, for those of us with companies that are anxious and hungry to find new ways to do business and new relationships to make that happen, that's our focus in Dublin, and that's what we concentrate on every day. So happy to have anyone that would like to participate with us join.
Thanks, Maureen. Yeah, and I know also, I know EJ Leeuwarden has the business cluster platform, and I can't tell if anyone else on this call has their own marketplace platform. So I'm sorry if I missed anyone. I kind of did a quick glance, but by all means, if you have your own platform, feel free to put it into the chat so that everyone, kind of can learn from one another and see what tools they can use.
And I know EJ's not on, but I can say from Dublin's perspective that, we've been able to work with him, through his business cluster. We have a, trade mission that we've been working on a number of different things. So they're incredibly sophisticated at what they do, well organized. So if anyone's looking, at that part of the Netherlands, I highly recommend talking with EJ about that.
Great, thank you. And I have another question for you all, actually. I know a few of you have missions coming up, and Al, in particular, you have an agriculture expo coming up. Does anyone have anything agriculture focused coming up in terms of an event or anything that other member companies can kind of participate in?
Well, thank you, Crystal, for referencing it. It's not actually an event. We are organizing a virtual trade show to highlight agricultural interests in our region to anyone interested on a virtual trade show platform. We're planning this for either late fourth quarter 2020 or first quarter 2021, and there are details emerging as we speak. Our website is being built. It is live. It is not 100% complete as details continue to evolve. But I would request everybody take a look at the WTCPalmBeach.com and see what is evolving here. We are specifically interested, as I sent in my chat note, we're specifically interested in focusing on our agricultural region and promoting it to interested World Trade Centers throughout Latin and South America to start with, because it never ceases to amaze me how vast the world is and how vast our organization is. So we're trying to be a little bit targeted with Latin and South America at this point in time. So I'll send the website address after I finish speaking. But that's what we're doing. We're building it, and we expect to be functioning by year's end.
Great. Thanks, Al. That's great to hear. And I think, yes. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Crystal. Just really quick. So on the ag side, on October 6th, and I'll send you some more information on this, but we'll be hosting a conversation with our partners at Agritech E. Agritech E is based in Cambridge, United Kingdom. We took a trade mission there a year ago, an ag-focused trade mission. They've since visited St. Louis, and with the support of the British government, we have been hosting some conversations in two-way partnerships with their member companies. There's about 300 ag tech companies that are a part of Agritech E. So we'll be doing just a conversation on what this relationship is and why these global collaborations are so important. And we'd be happy to have others join in and listen in. Obviously, it's going to be virtual, but the UK government will, their Department of Trade and Investment will be just sharing why they've invested in this relationship as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks, Tim. And was there anyone else that we may have missed? Okay. Well, I think, we have a lot that we discussed today, and Steve, if you're good, and Maureen, let's go ahead and touch base in terms of what EJ and CARE were suggesting and seeing how we can kind of move forward with that. If you have any ag-focused missions or expos, please feel free to send it to me and I'll add it to the notes from this meeting. And then I had one other point of business, Steve, sorry, I know I'm kind of taking over your agenda for a second, but I wanted to bring up the list of AgMAC members and kind of contact information and a possible WhatsApp group. So I know I sent the email message and I didn't hear back from many people. We have the opportunity to have a WhatsApp group for each of the MACs. Obviously, we don't want to start it if people aren't interested in using it. So if you can either click in the chat that you are interested in joining an AgMAC WhatsApp group, or raise your hand so that I can kind of just get a better gauge, because right now it seems like people are not interested in it. So just click in the chat real quick before we end here. Thanks, Denise. Neil, I see your hands there. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, good. Thanks, Miran. Thanks, Hoffman. Anthony, thank you. Okay, great. Okay, good. We have more focus. Okay, Steve, back to you.
Okay, I think we're all set for the CIIE. That will be our focus in the next couple of months. Please let us know as soon as possible whether you're interested and whether you're sending us the material. Okay, and the other thing, we need to get together and talk about our next steps for all these suggestions today. What we're going to do. Something I do think the WhatsApp group is going to be meaningful, because anytime anyone has an idea, they can just throw it out in the group, in the chat, and so others can respond, at their time, their own time, and after giving some thought about it. So I think WhatsApp is going to be very meaningful, rather than having to have this kind of meeting periodically, so that we can start exchanging ideas. Having a WhatsApp is actually a good idea. My problem is the Chinese WTCs are not going to have any access to the WhatsApp, and I don't think that situation is going to change in the near future. So that's the only drawback. But I think it's going to be a very useful tool for all of us.
Right, definitely. And I think also coming with the WhatsApp group, I'm also going to be able to share with you contact information for everyone in the group. So that's going through our final round of legal checking for the survey that I have to send out. But as soon as that gets approval, you all will receive it. And if you would like to share your email and or phone number with everyone, you'll be able to do it through this. So then we can catch those members in China as well, Steve.
Yes, right.
Okay. Great. Okay, fantastic. So I just want to quickly point out the few upcoming events that are on your agenda. We have the APAC Vibrant Network Series coming up. We have on Thursday, we have the UNAI and a few of our WTCA representatives speaking as part of a conversation panel discussion. And we also have another, the Conferences and Exhibitions MAC meeting coming up. So feel free to contact me if you need more information, check your agenda. But that's all from my end. Steve, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Maureen, I think we got everything covered for Ronnie?
Yes, thank you so much.
Great, perfect. All right. Well, with that, I think I'll go ahead and end us a few minutes early, but thank you all for joining today. We'll have more information for you and we'll start moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Steve. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you,
Have a good
Crystal.
day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.